Denzel Washington has established himself as a prominent figure in the film industry, excelling as an actor, director, and producer. His impressive body of work includes notable films such as the action series The Equalizer, his Oscar-winning role in Training Day, and his poignant performance in Fences. These achievements consistently affirm his status as one of the preeminent actors of his generation. Nevertheless, Washington's journey to success has not been devoid of obstacles. His foray into acting was rather unforeseen. In an interview with the Daily Mail, he recounted, "I was studying medicine at college, but found out quickly I didn't want to be a doctor, as I wasn't smart enough and I was just bored." It was through taking acting classes that Washington began to envision a potential career in performance. "I thought, people are telling me I'm good, so maybe it's something I'm supposed to do. Maybe one day I'll make $650 a week and work on Broadway. It was never my plan to go to Hollywood." After nearly 4 decades in the public eye, much has been revealed about Washington, yet there remains a wealth of information yet to be uncovered. Well then, join us today as we explore some surprising facts about this remarkable individual. Denzel Washington, celebrated for his extensive filmography that includes Oscar-winning performances in Glory, 1990, and Training Day, 2002, has enjoyed a remarkable acting career. Nevertheless, the acclaimed actor's upbringing was markedly different from the glitz of Hollywood. In a conversation with the Daily Mail, Washington candidly discussed some of the difficulties he encountered during his formative years, particularly the divorce of his parents. "My parents got divorced when I was 14, so I was only around my father up until that time, but it was the religious instruction which supported me," he shared with the publication. In a separate interview with Parade, Washington contemplated the contrasting personalities of his parents, stating, "My parents were like night and day." He elaborated, "She's urban, raised in Harlem. My father was just this spirit-filled man until the day he died, in 1991, a country boy raised on a farm in Virginia. They say opposites attract, but my parents only grew apart." The divorce profoundly affected Washington's youth and shaped his perceptions of both his mother and father in subsequent years. Following the separation of his parents, Denzel Washington experienced an increase in troublesome behavior, which he attributed to the instability of his family life. In an interview with the Washington Post in 1985, Washington remarked, "I suppose it fueled my anger." He elaborated, "I went through a period where I engaged in numerous fights. It was a way of working through my feelings." The article highlighted that Washington was raised in the middle-class suburb of Mount Vernon, New York, where his mother played a pivotal role in his upbringing. "She was extremely strict, a formidable disciplinarian," he recalled. "Even at the age of 15 or 16, I was required to be home by the time the streetlights illuminated." Before embarking on his journey in the entertainment industry, Washington underwent a phase of rebellion. "As a young teenager in the late 60s, I engaged in activities typical of young people in New York City, spending time on the streets," he shared with the Daily Mail. Some individuals were not as fortunate and found themselves incarcerated. Fortunately, Washington managed to avoid the severe consequences faced by many of his contemporaries. "I doubt I would have made it had I continued down that path," he reflected. During the same discussion, Washington acknowledged his mother's crucial role in redirecting his life, initially by enrolling him in summer camps and subsequently sending him to a military academy. Following the separation of his parents, Denzel Washington experienced an increase in troublesome behavior, which he attributed to the instability of his family environment. In an interview with the Washington Post in 1985, Washington remarked, "I suppose it fueled my anger." He elaborated, "I went through a period where I engaged in numerous fights. It was a way of working through my feelings." The article highlighted that Washington was raised in the middle-class suburb of Mount Vernon, New York, where his mother played a pivotal role in his upbringing. She was extremely strict, a formidable disciplinarian, he recalled. Even at the age of 15 or 16, I had to be home by the time the streetlights illuminated. Before embarking on his journey in the entertainment industry, Washington underwent a phase of rebellion. As a young teenager in the late 60s, I engaged in activities typical of adolescence in New York City, spending time on the streets, he shared with the Daily Mail. Some individuals were not as fortunate and found themselves incarcerated. Fortunately, Washington managed to avoid the severe consequences faced by many of his contemporaries. I doubt I would have made it had I continued down that path, he reflected. During the same discussion, Washington credited his mother for his eventual success, noting that she consistently enrolled him in summer camps and later sent him to a military academy. Washington emphasized his mother's unwavering support throughout his life, stating, "She was present for everything, and she always returned home." The Fences actor also mentioned that he did not shed tears at Lena's funeral, humorously suggesting that he had reserved all his emotions for his interview with Colbert. His heartfelt response while discussing his mother's passing underscores the profound impact she had on his life. Denzel Washington's mother, Lennis, played a significant role in his life, contrasting sharply with his relationship with his father, Denzel Hayes Washington Sr. In a GQ interview, Washington reflected on his bond with his father, stating, "The things I did, like sports and things, he wasn't really interested in." He added, "Not to say that I didn't love him like a dad. But we didn't play ball, those type of things." In a similar vein, during a conversation with the Daily Mail, the Courage Under Fire actor remarked, "My father worked all the time and he preached at weekends. In my generation nobody saw their father. That's how life was." Washington's father passed away in 1991 while the actor was in the midst of filming Malcolm X. In his GQ interview, Washington admitted that he did not cry upon his father's death. "I never did all through the funeral and all that," he shared with the publication. There was no connection. He expressed that he resembled his mother more than his father, although he acknowledged that his dad was a good, spiritual man. Ultimately, the actor's relationship with his father was characterized by distance, in stark contrast to the enduring bond he shared with his mother. Prior to dedicating himself to acting as a professional career, Denzel Washington harbored aspirations of becoming a football player. In an interview with the Oprah magazine in 2008, he expressed, "My son is fulfilling my dream, playing football like I'd always wanted to." However, John David Washington ultimately decided to leave football behind due to a series of injuries and has since emerged as a distinguished actor, following in his father's footsteps. Denzel conveyed his satisfaction with John David's transition from athletics to acting during a conversation with People. Although Denzel initially aimed for a career in football, a significant injury prompted him to reconsider. In a discussion on The Graham Norton Show, he shared that he had dislocated his pinky finger multiple times, leading to a severe condition. He humorously noted that surgery had resolved the issue, stating, "But it's like a gummy bear in there." It seems that Denzel's dislocated finger may have played a pivotal role in steering him away from football and towards a successful acting career. Denzel Washington, born on December 28, 1954, in Mount Vernon, New York, is a true New Yorker. Consequently, the events of September 11 had a significant impact on him, as he shared in an interview with the Daily Mail. Washington stated, "I'm from New York, I was at ground zero and it changed my life." He emphasized his deep connection to the city, saying, "I'm a native New Yorker to the day I die. I had to be there. I was stunned. I was as close as I am to you now looking down on the whole days after it happened." His experience at the site shortly after the tragedy was unforgettable, as he vividly recalled the sights and sounds. "For everyone involved it was traumatic," he noted. "I saw people just sitting there exhausted because the guys had worked 2 or 3 days straight. In fact, the guy who was walking me around had lost his voice just from tension and from the dust." Washington also mentioned that despite the somber atmosphere, passers-by still approached him for photographs. Initially hesitant to comply, he was advised that his presence was providing comfort to those around him, prompting him to reconsider. Denzel Washington has faced various forms of prejudice throughout his professional journey, a reality that has shaped both his career choices and his perspective on the film industry. Early in his career, he encountered significant dissatisfaction with a particular role that he believed could jeopardize his future in Hollywood. In a candid discussion with Times Talk, as reported by Madame Noir, Washington recounted a pivotal moment from 1986 when he was offered a role that made him deeply uncomfortable. The character he was to portray was involved in a violent act against a white woman, leading to a series of events where the character became a cult figure after a failed execution attempt and a subsequent hanging. Washington's apprehension about the film's portrayal of a black character was palpable, and he felt compelled to voice his concerns, even in the face of a lucrative financial offer. He recalled reaching out to the legendary Sidney Poitier for guidance, sharing the staggering offer of $600,000 he had received. Poitier, a trailblazer for black actors in Hollywood, imparted wisdom that resonated with Washington. The first few films you undertake in this industry will shape how you are viewed. This advice weighed heavily on Washington, who ultimately made the courageous decision to decline the role, trusting his instincts that it was not the right fit for him or his career trajectory. In a 2016 interview with CBS News, Washington further addressed the systemic issues of diversity and representation within the film industry, particularly highlighting the lack of inclusivity at the Academy Awards. He described the Oscars as an unjust platform, reflecting on his own experiences of exclusion. "I have experienced it firsthand," he stated, recalling moments when he was present at the Oscars, only to find that his name was not called when many expected it to be. This personal narrative underscored the broader inequities that persist in Hollywood, where talent and hard work do not always guarantee recognition. Despite the challenges and inequities he has faced, Washington remains a source of inspiration for aspiring artists. He encourages them to persevere in the face of adversity, emphasizing the importance of staying true to oneself and making choices that align with personal values and integrity. His journey serves as a testament to the power of resilience and the impact of thoughtful decision-making in an industry that often presents difficult choices. In 2014, TMZ reported that Denzel Washington had spent a fortnight at a detoxification center in Orange County, California, following a month characterized by excessive alcohol consumption during a family vacation aboard a yacht. Sources later informed the publication that Washington was undergoing detoxification from both toxins and alcohol, with the support of a chef, a trainer, and a nutritionist at the facility. However, Washington's publicists subsequently challenged the claims regarding the actor's detoxification due to excessive partying. In a statement to Entertainment Tonight, the publicist remarked, "He undergoes this health cleanse every time he is preparing to return to work and commence his conditioning and nutritional regimen." He added, "He always cleans up after the family vacation in preparation for work." This is nothing new. It remains uncertain whether Washington was merely preparing for his upcoming role or genuinely attempting to detox from alcohol. Nonetheless, his time at the facility garnered significant media attention.